Hey, everybody, thanks for stopping by the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. Jim Masters in the house here in the New York area, reporting for duty in the host chair. We appreciate you being with us. Thanks for all the great comments, love, and support of our series, which is amazing and continues to astound me with all these celebrity friends and guests that stop by and give their time and have great conversations and all kinds of cool things with us live on our show. Wherever you're watching around the world, we welcome you and you and you and you and everybody watching. It's so cool to have you here. Spread the word, share the links, tell everybody about the Jim Masters Show, where you come for some light, love, levity, or our famous levity, and all the rest that we throw at you, including amazing guests like our special guest coming up right now, the incomparable, the legendary, the iconic, the effervescent, the spectacular Wendy Moten is here. And yes, you probably are saying, wait, wasn't she on NBC's The Voice? Yes, she was. But she's also toured with some of the biggest names in the business. She herself is one of the biggest names in the business. 25 years plus, background vocals, and so much more for some of your favorite artists. But that is just scratching the surface, of providing voice background for other artists and helping them knock out of the park these amazing songs that you love and can sing to. She is a brilliant artist herself in her own right. She grew up in Memphis, and you know what I love about her? She's not only determined, passionate, enthusiastic, tenacious, warm, loving, compassionate, fun. She works her tail off and has been since day one. But she started getting an interest in music growing up in a great city like Memphis, Tennessee. Now she's in Nashville. That makes total sense. That's like a linear sort of move. And she sings a variety of different genres of music as well, jazz, country, all. But she really developed her interest in music as a pursuit, as a passion, by listening to TV theme songs, Perry Mason, and some of the other great TV themes. We've had a lot of jingle writers, composers, musicians, and others on our show who have been responsible for a lot of those TV themes. And I work in television and radio gang. I'm a broadcast guy. So I love all that stuff, news themes, production music, TV themes, that whole thing. And that's a good way to begin, sort of paying heed to the sounds of these familiar themes you can sing to and all the jingles and everything else. That's just a little scratching the surface of her incredible beginnings in Memphis. But she is, again, a real icon in the industry. And she's very excited because she has new music out. She's done so much. She's done it for so long. She could easily say, I've done my time. I've done it. But she loves it. She's passionate about it. Matter of fact, even later on, having an opportunity to go on NBC's The Voice. That's right. And there's a whole story to that as well that is so inspiring. It really shows you her character. It shows you her heart and soul, how through it all, going on a major show like that is not an easy task. But when you have various things that occurred during it, all the hopes and dreams and everything else, of course, there she is with her great friend Blake Shelton. Things happen and it just can throw you off, and it's how you respond and how you pick yourself up and how you go from there. She became a finalist, which was incredible. Again, that's no easy feat as well. She's amazing. And I just want to tell you a bit more. I can tell you on and on from my perspective, but she really is somebody who, again, has left and continues to leave her mark in the hearts and souls of millions of people here in America and around the world for her incredible, successful career in music, including several major solo records, international hit songs, a second career as a touring musician with Martina McBride. She's worked with David Foster, opened with Michael Bolton, who I know personally, a really nice guy. Vince Gill for many years as well. Tim McGraw, and as I mentioned, David Foster. The list goes on and on. She's worked with some of the greats who have wanted to work with her. And of course, she's best known for the single Come In Out of the Rain, which was a number 8 hit in the UK in 1994. My God, that seems like it was just yesterday, right? And she has surprised many of her fellow musicians and fans when she took the risk to enter the American National Talent Competition, The Voice, on NBC. And it was really, of course, it buoyed the national exposure, but she had already been working so hard behind the scenes in the industry and providing voice and so much more for so many others. She was discovered by a promo man, Dick Williams, who heard her, and she was singing a jingle in a Memphis studio, and she got the break singing with Michael Bolton at a benefit concert after signing with EMI. And these are around the times that, of course, like Celine Dion and Whitney Houston and others are out there as well. And they were saying, gee, maybe she would be the next Whitney Houston. However, she really wanted to carve her own path, which I think is really something very smart to do and very inspiring for others who want to pursue this very challenging and crazy industry. I don't want to give it all away, folks. First, we just want to welcome you again for stopping by the Jim Masters Show. Like, comment, subscribe, share the lovity, interact with us in the chat room, whatever you'd like to do. But from Nashville, we are so honored, been so excited about this, to have this very special guest on our show who's graced us with her incredible music for quite a decade or two and continues to do it today. Miss Wendy Moten is here from Nashville. There she is. The glasses, the yellow bright hat. I love it. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show, my friend.
Jim Masters, thank you so much. You are amazing. I know more about me after that introduction. I was like, man, she's amazing. I mean,
she's amazing. Well, you are, my friend. You've certainly been around the block. You've paid your dues. You've really laid the groundwork out for yourself, but other artists as well. And you've been supportive of other artists, which I think is such a beautiful thing. And just throwing it out there, being a TV guy myself, I love that the TV themes are one of the first ways that you got exposed to some of the music and singing along, humming along to Perry Mason and some of the others. Tell us about that. That's so cool. And welcome again to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, I'm a little older, so we only had like 8 channels back in the day. And if you wanted to watch TV, not only were you going to watch Soul Train, you had to watch Lawrence Welk, and you had to watch, Hee Haw, and then you had to watch these amazing shows that were so new, and they had the most sophisticated arrangements. So I just, growing up in Memphis, yeah, you got soul music, you got gospel music, but then television presented this other avenue of music that you're not getting in your home, or you're not. I was too young to go out, so the TV was my new best friend. The TV was where we all got influence, sounds, and people and cultures, and so that's how it started. And I love the Lawrence Welk as much as I love the Twilight Zone theme, as well as I love all those themes. It was so sophisticated.
They really were. Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned we've had some of those jingle singers and composers and those who wrote those themes on our show. And, we don't necessarily hear that as much now on television like we used to. Everything is quick and short. Maybe you just hear boom and they go right into the show. Before, it was the credits, and it was, and then there's Ma, dun, dun, you'd be singing along. You knew what the buildup was. You knew what to expect. And all of these great themes, the Brady Bunch, all of it. I just think it's great stuff. And when you hear it now, the Dick Van Dyke Show and all the rest, you're humming along to it, and you're like, this is good stuff. And it wasn't throwaway. It was to create this feeling that sort of brought you in. And what a cool way to sort of want to come in. And the Twilight Zone theme, that's another fantastic one. All of them. What were some of your favorite shows growing up?
Well, you picked them up pretty good. The Perry Mason, genius. Twilight Zone, Mannix, Barnaby Jones, Hawaii Five-0. I mean, there was so. ba ba da ba ba.
Dun.
It's my first ear training because you had to get those intervals.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I Dream of Jeannie. I mean, just all, there's so many.
Oh my gosh, I dream of Jeannie.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and when you look at the credits, these people that created these themes were masters of the craft themselves. Hugo Montenegro created the theme for I Dream of Jeannie, a fabulous composer and musician. And a lot of these people were major people who created the themes for these shows. Or if they hadn't been, they became as a result, which was really, really cool. So how did you take this early passion growing up, as we did too, on television and all these stars and shows, and of course, Soul Train for us Saturday mornings on WNEW Channel 5 in New York. Doot, 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 doot,
Yes.
doot. I had to run out and get that 45 MFSB, The Sound of Philadelphia. That's still one of my favorite songs from instrumental songs from that period. It just is so good. And of course, it was the theme to Soul Train. And how did you not, hum it along? But how did you take that passion and actually start to work to turn it into a career?
Well, music chose me. It chose me. I didn't know I was being influenced by all those different sounds. Uh, and so not until I started, at a young age, all I ever remember is going to rehearsals and opportunities kept coming my way, but I didn't know I was just adding on to my arsenal the whole time. I didn't realize that to way into my adulthood that I really enjoy a variety of different sounds and singing. I consider myself when I do my shows my own version of um, Linda Ronstadt because Linda went all over the place, at least four genres. And I go at least four genres. But it's because of all those influences at a young age that I can incorporate those different sounds in my music, how I sing melodies. So it just, I was influenced by it, didn't know it till way later, how influenced, how it contributed to my career.
Now you got involved, and I've always loved jingles, television, radio, network jingles, commercials, everything. You remember everything, every product, every soft drink, every vacuum cleaner. Everybody had a jingle singing it. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper. And because a lot of those jingles, you wanted to go out and get the product because you felt good. It made you feel good. I'd like to teach the world to sing, buy me a Coke, all that. You got into that world a bit and you were singing a jingle in Memphis in the studio, and Dick heard that and said, there's something here, huh?
He did. He asked the owner of the studio who I was doing the jingle with, Dick Williams. He said, and he flew to Memphis to meet a band that he was going to get signed to a major record label. He just happened to stop by the studio just to say hello. I was singing this jingle, and he was like, "Who is that girl?" Her name was Wendy Moten. Or what does she sound like with a band? And the guy, Nico Laris, who owned the studio, was like, "I don't know. I just call her in here to do some local commercials every once in a while." And so he was like, "Well, I'm in town for the week. Can she sit in with your band?" And so I went to Julio had a band called Come In Berlin in Memphis, and I sat in. And at this time, Whitney Houston's "Saving All My Love for You" was out. I think "Freeway of Love" was out with Aretha Franklin. And so I did Whitney Houston's version of um, oh my gosh, I can't even think of the title now, but it was one of those classics during the "Saving All My Love for You" era, and two Aretha Franklin songs. And he was like, "I think I can get you a record deal." And I'm like, "Oh man, that's not going to be possible. I'm in college. I want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be an artist." And he was like, "No, I think I can get you a record deal." And literally 3 months later, he had songs. He was back in Memphis, and we started to record in "Coming Out of the Rain," which was my single that came out 30 years ago now, 1993. That's all started from Dick Williams just happened to stop by the recording studio and see me. A fluke. A fluke.
Yes, you and I were talking about that. So many different things that came, which a lot of times happens in these industries, that it just comes out of the blue, or it wasn't something you were chasing. Like you said, you were thinking about being a lawyer, but then your talent and your panache and your voice was recognized, and they pulled you out and said, no, we gotta get you out there, which I think is such a fantastic thing. So yeah, that opportunity. You also had an opportunity to work with Michael Bolton early on too, which is not too shabby as well. What was that experience like?
Well, we were playing this big, huge thing in New York City. I don't even know what it was, but he was the main guest, and it was kind of like a showcase for me because the label was thinking about signing me, and it was about to be done, and they put me on this show, and from that is how I had gotten signed, but from that Michael Bolton let me open up for him, and he was playing arenas, and I think I did like a couple of weeks or a month with a 10-piece band in the 90s. You can have a 10-piece band and travel the world, but I got a chance to be his opening act, which was amazing. I was terrified because I had never been in a setting like an arena. What if people don't like me? What if I mess up? And so I actually did research. At that time, we had videos, and I looked up Mariah Carey. I looked up all the greatest, Aretha Franklin, everybody that I ever loved and respected as an artist. And I looked at the video and was like, what are they doing differently than what I already do? And the answer was, they're just being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So just be yourself and you'll be all right.
That's the key, right? That's the key to it all, is be yourself. Because I think when you're yourself, people recognize the authenticity. And that is what people crave. They don't always want all the varnish and all of the, rigid movements and everything. They want that authenticity. And I think in just following your career, and we were talking about some of the folks that we know in the career that you've either had to know or we've worked with or what have you, you have always had this realness, this approachability, this affability, this authenticity as a person, out in the supermarket, but also when you're in the studio or on stage. And I think people sense that, they gravitate that, and it flows through your art, which is your voice, your performance, songwriting, everything. And I would imagine, and I think I know the answer to this already, a lot of times people will say, well, Jim, it really isn't me. There's something bigger than me. There's an energy greater than me that is coming in and flowing out. And that's where it's coming from. I have a source. There's an energy. There's an inspiration that just comes in and comes out. Do you feel the same way as well, Wendy, for you?
For me, it's definitely, I feel some of that. But for me, I've always wanted to be a great storyteller if I'm going to be a singer at all. And having a nice voice. Okay. Some people say beautiful voice. Okay. That's great. There's hundreds of millions of beautiful voices. But I finally figured out my purpose, and my purpose is to reach people through song, to touch their spirit, and, hopefully make them feel something different that they can't even articulate sometimes. So, I'm always thinking about the listener, and that's just my purpose, is doing something for the soul, for the spirit of whatever that is coming out of me, going into them. Okay, great. But I just want them to know beyond a reasonable doubt that it's really something I want to give, I want to offer. And it's not about how great I sound. Listen to me sing. So once I figured out my purpose, then it was on. It's like I can go anywhere. I can sing any genre. I can be in any room. I go from a Birdland to the Grand Ole Opry, two different audiences, but I'm comfortable in both.
You just were in New York at Birdland not that long ago, right? Performing?
And at the end of April, I was there.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
It's a great place. It really, really is. And I'm sure the response is just everybody's always on their feet. You're the daughter of a pastor, right? You began singing in a church choir.
Yes, that same story. You've heard it 100 million times.
How did that influence you? How did having that that foundation sort of get things going for you as well?
Well, it was my first audience. You can fall and fail, and they're still going to support you and pick you back up. So falling and failing, you get used to it. You just get back up. So, I learned that I was happy to have that type of foundation, which I think helped me stay grounded in the music industry and to continue to go on because, success in the music industry is very short. So either you're going to keep reinventing yourself and try new things while trying to maintain yourself and who you are, which is hard to do sometimes, and stay on the path that you're on. You could easily get turned around and easily constantly think about what others are thinking. If you just get that out of your mind, or that's what I did, and stayed on my path, it's just been a really beautiful journey. Do I want to be as big as Beyonce? I don't know. If it happened, I would have. However, do I want to carry that kind of load that it takes to be a Beyonce? That's something we have to think about. So, I knew my purpose. I was thankful for the opportunities, and they keep getting greater. That's why I went on The Voice, because I wasn't ready to let it go. And, you know, the pandemic changed everybody's lives. And for me, I felt like this was my way back because everybody's afraid. We weren't even sure we would be in the same rooms anymore. Will there be an audience ever again? And so I made that choice to go on The Voice. And I did it like kettle call style. Nobody was expecting me. I just sent a video from my home. And I said, if they say yes, then I know this is the path to take. If they reject me because I got way too much history, okay, I got to find another way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What was that process like? I mean, that is a big commitment. It is a big journey, and you're out there for all to see and to experience. Were you like, I'm gung ho, I'm going to give this my all, I want to do this? Were there people supporting you, pushing you, rallying you, or was it something you personally said, this is mine? I want to do it. It's the time. Let's get out there and see what happens.
I had to do it. It was my only way out. I was dealing with age. I was dealing with race. I was dealing with genre. Well, that too. And
Yeah, everything, right?
with everything. So it was like, but because the whole music industry and everybody else was so afraid, I said, this is my way back. And if I can handle it, if I can handle reality TV, if I can handle being under a microscope like this, then I can make my dreams come true. I can continue my journey. And I'm glad I went on the show. Went on the show for three reasons: to find out if I still had the fight, if I was still competitive. I wanted to know if people would still love what I would have to offer, the type of classic singing that I love, because the industry tells you no, but I went out there for, from May until December, and they love, there are people who would accept what I have to offer musically. And then I wanted to be an advocate for people over 50, 50, 60, 70, 80s, to remind them that we have value. And if you have dreams, we can go after those dreams. And if we fall, we get back up. And I did all that to prove to myself in the journey that I'm on now. I don't hear the industry noise anymore. I'm just on my own path. And the path is being a great storyteller.
Which is a beautiful thing. The overall experience on The Voice, I know, is absolutely extraordinary. And you had an opportunity to work with other fabulous artists and other greats who are a part of the show. Blake Shelton, form a friendship with Blake. What was it like working with, Team Blake and all, and everybody a part of that show?
I have to say that all four coaches, which was Blake Shelton, Kelly Clarkson, John Legend, and Ariana Grande, all amazing artists in their own genres. I knew that, first of all, I like to say that they honestly cared about the contestants. That really mattered, that they cared because they knew people invested their whole lives into these moments, hoping that they can make it. And not one time did I see them make fun of anybody or take it lightly. So that helped me uh love the show and the staff even more. And Blake is, people always ask me, what is Blake like? He's just like he is on TV. I didn't expect him to be that tall, but he is personable and open. And I didn't know that Blake had such a beautiful voice. I didn't find that out till I was on the show, how beautiful his voice and how musical he truly is. Um, so I knew as a professional that I had to make all the songs I sang like it was hard to do because they're all great coaches. And my goal was to just slay them every week, including America and the rest of the world. But if I could impress them and they recognize the work that it took, they recognize my artistry and, that I'm not just regular. And that's my job too. Because if I can impress them, then I can continue on my journey too. But it was the best move I made. It got me here with you, Jim Masters.
I tell you, right?
Serious.
That is the ultimate. I always tell everybody, you can get the Grammys and the Emmys and the Tonys and the Academy Awards and the Tellys and the Cleos and the Peabodys. But when you are told you are a Lovity on the Jim Masters Show, it is the apex, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm glad to be here and to be a member.
Speaking of the tenacity, the can-do spirit, don't give up, title of the new music, that's something that you've always called upon within you, which I think is so inspiring because there's so many people who go into all of these kinds of careers that we are in who see the glamorous side. They see the lights and they see the red carpet and they see other types of things that are part of the package, but not all of the package. It's all that work and toil and blood, sweat, and tears and years put in and all the things, the sacrifices, everything that makes some of those things happen. During the time on The Voice, you got involved with a monitor that just sort of got in the way. Blake Shelton likes the monitors. And there was just a monitor that happened to be there and ba-boom a little bit. It's sort of like Dick Van Dyke over the ottoman.
Yes, I'm saying 35 years been in the music business. I'm going to fall over a monitor in front of 6 to 8 million people on national TV. Really? Yes, that happened. Had a great news cycle week. I didn't cry though. I looked over. I was that same monitor or a different one. I looked over. I was so relieved that my head didn't slam into the floor. I looked at my elbow and said, oh, that's broken. I figured, okay, well, I can fix that. I'm not necessarily sure I can fix my brain. So I didn't cry. I had somebody pick me up. And of course, the show was nervous. Everybody was nervous. I just wanted my arm put back together. And so they said, hey, can you come back and just say something? Because this is live television. I came back. I looked over. I'm like, yeah, I'm broken, but I'll be back. And I'm glad I did that because my husband of 29 years, David Santos, he was in Nashville and my family was in Memphis and they knew I was injured, but I wanted to know that I was going to be all right, that, I didn't need to get on the next flight out. But the song Don't Give Up is a song David and I wrote in 2009. It was not ready to be released, but it took this experience where people actually saw me fall, saw me be back on the set the next day, and releasing a song like Don't Give Up. Hey, they saw it. So the song means even more to the listener because they saw it happen in real time. And although I was in the emergency room, I got a room. I asked the doctor, how long do I have before my arm can be repaired? And he was like, you got 3 weeks. I said, when is the finale? They were like, you got 3 weeks. So I'm staying on the show. And I did the last 3 weeks with 2 broken arms. I had the broken elbow. The other arm was fractured and broken piece in my hand. And I just did the last 3 weeks with 2 splints, which was, for me, that was like, I can go make all my dreams come true.
That's it. You can scale Mount Everest now. Where do you think that came from? That can-do spirit, I will get through this? Because that's a pivotal time where a lot of people then because it was a national TV situation, might have just pulled up the tent and say, thank you, goodbye. You took it as a challenge, and I'm going to get through this, and there is pain and all the rest, but this is a challenge. This is an opportunity, and one that you took on for yourself as well, which was beautiful, and you handle it so beautifully. Where do you think deep inside that don't give up came from?
Well, deciding to go on a show like The Voice and be involved in reality TV and be that kind of exposed, I was all in. And although I was injured, my pain level was a 3. They flew my sister out to take care of me, Mona. And when I had those things in place, especially with the pain level being so low, I said, let me just stick it out. I have to tell you, there were 2 phone calls.
I bet your 3 is everybody else's 9.
Maybe. But I did get 2 amazing phone calls while I was in the emergency room. One was from Vince Gill. He said, where are you? I said, I am in the emergency room waiting to be seen. He didn't know how injured I was. And he said, you have to stay on the show. And I'm like, I don't even know how broken I am. And I'm like, we don't even have x-rays yet. He was like, no, you have to stay. And I'm just looking at the phone like, is he serious? I said, well, I'll have to see what's going on. And then the other call came like maybe an hour later from a lady named Leslie Fram, who's, big wig over at CMT. And she called, and she was another one. They said, you have to stay on the show. So I got these 2 successful people telling me I must stay on. They not until I got home and had surgeries that they say, oh my God, we didn't realize how injured you really were. But my pain level stayed at 3. So that was a sign for me, if I could, to continue.
That's such a beautiful thing. And you did, which I think is fantastic. And I think you had already earned the honor and respect of the judges, the producers, everybody involved in the series, The Voice on NBC, and the legions of already built-in fans, but then new fans that developed because of how you handled that in the best way possible, with grace and some humor, and again, tenacity. And it was really something to behold. And I tell you, kudos to you for taking that opportunity and seizing it, because again, it really is very inspiring for other people out there who maybe they don't even have something as major as that happen, and they get bewildered by it, and they pull in and they say, oh, I can't go further. I think seeing your story, hearing your story is very, very inspiring. And it's been that way throughout, your existence, with so many things that have come your way, which I think is terrific. As we mentioned, Come In Out of the Rain, a terrific song. Folks, if you have the CD or what have you, pull it out, listen to it tonight, or go on Spotify or elsewhere. I can't believe we're talking like some 30 years.
30 years ago.
That went by in a New York minute. And again, it was on the charts. It was beloved. And then the follow-up single, So Close to Love, was another fantastic one. And then you also had a starring role in an off-Broadway production of Mama, I Want to Sing. What was that like? Did you enjoy the theater and being a part of off-Broadway? Was that cool for you?
Yeah, it was cool. And I thought, Vi Higgins, she found me. I was like, how on earth did she find me? And, can I remember a script? I've never really experienced that, on the local level. I did, I did some theater, but this is off Broadway. This is like New York City and touring. And, but that was an amazing experience. And I was a part of the ensemble, and I was the lead study. And that lady never got sick. So I never got a chance to be the lead. But then she was so great at it that she really need me. You know what I mean? But I've had a lot of Forrest Gump moments like that. A lot. I'll tell you another one. One that you I don't even think you know about this one, Jim. Last year, Ringo Starr was inducted into the Nashville Musicians Hall of Fame. I got a call like 35 hours before the show. Hey, do you want to sing for a Beatle? Yes, I do. Okay, we want you to sing Photographs. I had never heard of Photographs. And this just happened last September. And so I went on the internet, like I do research all the time, found the song, found how he performs the song. I said, this is going to be tough because I don't have enough hours, but I know that if I sing it just like him or just don't go off, I'll be a part of his history forever. That's what I did. So I'm only, 35 hours before the ceremony, I go and I sing the song, Photographs, Ringo Starr song. He's about 30 feet in front of me. He stands up, both arms, and he stands to his feet. And he's like, you sound just like me. And I said, that was the idea. Now, when on earth was I supposed to have a moment with a Beatle? It couldn't happen at the Oscars or the Grammys. It had to happen in Nashville in a private function. That's a Forrest Gump moment. Me and Ringo Starr.
You've had a lot of those Forrest Gump moments, haven't you? Really
Yes.
incredible. It's well, like I said, because I think people know when they contact Wendy, they know what they're going to get. You're solid. You are. You're reliable. You're there. You've got the experience. You're going to roll up your sleeves and dive in and make it work and make it happen or put it together. And they know that. And that's a cool thing to have a Ringo Starr and others like that say, hey, Wendy, that's not bad. Want another Forrest Gump moment? Ringo's going to give you one.
Yes.
That's not too bad.
Unbelievable.
It really is. You also had an opportunity to work with the icon. I worked with him on a PBS special with the young singer. She was a prodigy. And I think, wasn't she on The Voice? Was it The Voice? Was America's Got Talent? Jackie Ivanko. She was that 12-year-old that had that operatic voice. Now she's got her own career. But it was a PBS special, Music at the Movies. And we filmed it at the Orpheum Theater in Los Angeles for great performance at PBS. And David Foster was the producer. Yeah. Funny guy, witty, sense of humor, quick. What was it like working with David Foster?
Amazing. I mean, he had this long history of production and writing amazing songs and compositions. And, he tells the greatest story, of hearing me for the first time. He said he was in his car, driving down Malibu. He heard Coming Out of the Rain. And he said he pulled over. He wanted to know who that was. Then he reached out to the record company, reached out to EMI, was like, hey, I want to produce this girl, I want to work with her. And we got a chance to work together on my second project called, Wendy Moten, Time for Change, and is the name of the record. And I got, he produced about 3 or 4 songs on that CD, and working with him was, man, it was just amazing. I tried not to get caught up in my head. I just wanted to pay attention to the songs and get a great performance, because if I started thinking about everything that he's ever done, then I wouldn't even feel worthy of being in the room. So I had to keep it all in perspective. But having David Foster as someone that produced, I worked with, had a relationship with, he even took me to Japan. We performed at the Budokan.
That's right.
His core band and the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra. And it was televised. And of course, he was like, he couldn't get Whitney. Whitney was booked. And we were just working in the studio. So my music hadn't been released yet. And I had to sing I'll Always Love You. And I had nothing. And I was like, she's my nemesis, right? He was like, no, it's going to be great. It'll be good for your career. I'll boost you up. Because my name was Wendy. And because, pop, R&B, ballad, that was that time in the 90s. I got a lot of like, oh, she sounds like Whitney Houston, which was great company to be in because her voice was amazing. And so I was worried about going on record in such a big production, singing her songs. But again, it was one of those amazing moments in my career that I do not regret.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Whitney over the years?
No,
in the same room.
No, we never got a chance to meet each other, but we had some similar friends. We had some same friends like Kirk Whalum, who played that amazing solo on I'll Always Love You. We've been knowing each other forever because both of our dads were pastors in Memphis. We didn't get a chance to meet each other, but she knew I existed. So that, I had to go with that. I was hoping for that date that we would meet.
You had another incredible thing. Talk about Forrest Gump moments. You accepted an offer to go on tour with another legend, Julio Iglesias. And you had a working relationship with Julio that continued for some 15 years. And you say you loved touring the whole world with him, singing in 4 languages, flying around in private jets, and singing in front of massive audiences. Now, I think that's a Forrest Gump moment plus, plus, plus.
That was so amazing because it was at the end, the 90s, 1997, 98. Pop R&B was dying. Hip hop and rap was born. And then Julio Iglesias was looking for a duet partner. And mind you, this guy named Daniel Abate was Julio Iglesias' tour manager. We met 7 years before. I was singing in a bar doing cover songs. He introduces himself and he said, "Hey, I work for Julio Iglesias. If we ever need girls, I'll call you. And need the female singers, I'll call you." I said, "No problem." He called 7 years later. My parents still had the same phone number. He said, "I know that you have your solo career. Julio's looking for a new duet partner. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Great," because my contract is about to end. And what else am I going to do? Maybe I'll learn something. So Julio Iglesias, his team sent 2 duets and they flew me to Atlantic City. And they said, if he likes you, you'll stay on the tour. If he doesn't like you, this is during sound check, you'll be sent home. So I go and I do the one duet, the Diana Ross, all of you. And he's not singing with me. He's standing behind me. When it's freaking me out, I'm like, am I going to get sent home before I even get started? And he says, "Sing it again." And he's standing behind me and I'm doing the duet parts, not with him. He's just listening. And he says, "Sing it again." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to get sent home. I haven't even got started. What's happening? What's going on?" The band's on stage. Everybody's on stage watching this. And after the 3rd time of me singing the duet alone, he leaves the stage. And then the musical director, Rafa Ferro, said, "Congratulations." I'm like, "What?" He was like, "Julio, you got the gig." And a year, 2 years later, I asked Julio about that, and he said, "The first time I thought you were lucky. The second time I thought you were lucky. And the 3rd time I knew you were a great singer."
Wow. There are times the charm.
Obviously. And I stayed 15 years because it was insane lifestyle that was going on at that time.
I can imagine. Also, not only having an opportunity to do that, then comes this opportunity to perform with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill and the Soul to Soul tour, and you spent some time with them doing that. That's pretty cool too, huh?
I know. Yeah, Country World started to open up, and I was supposed to be a sub for the Faith and Tim tour 2006. Did a big television special, and I was done. And then they were like, "Hey, girl got sick. Can you do the tour?" Okay, sure, I can do the tour. And then 2007, they did the big Soul to Soul tour again. And then I asked Julio, "How much work do you have for 2007?" He's like, "Not that much." I said, "Can I go do this tour?" He was like, "Yeah, do it, but come back." Okay, no problem. So I stayed with Tim and Faith for 15 years, and it worked out that I could tour with Faith and Tim and Julio Iglesias. The chances of that happening, but it worked for many, many
Wow.
years. I know.
All at the same time, right? Huh?
Just amazing.
That is amazing too. And also contributing backing vocals to Bonnie Tyler's 2013 album, Rocks and Honey, as well. And toured with Martina McBride, providing background vocals. That must have been really cool, huh?
Yes, Martina's so sweet. We're now like really close friends. So
Yeah.
2014 to 2016, I went out on the road with Martina McBride, and she had this Motown record that she was promoting and had a huge band with horns, 3 background singers. And that was great. It was only supposed to last 6 months, and we ended up touring for 2 years. And that was great. We just did something a couple of days ago together.
Did you really?
Yeah, she's one of my close friends.
Oh, that's so cool. That's great when that happens. That's the icing on the cake, the residual to all the hard work. And a harmony singer then comes into the world, Vince Gill, and you're a harmony singer for Vince Gill, member of Time Jumpers for several years, and he took you on tour as a featured vocalist too.
Yes, you know,
Oh,
when Vince Gill came into my life, I said, okay, now I have to learn how to sing country music for real. And as I do research on everything, and I looked up the women of country, late 60s, 70s, late 60s and the 70s. And I said, Tammy Wynette, she doesn't smile, her lips are tight, she stands very still. So if I can do that and sing Vince Gill songs exactly like the record, I'll have a job. I'll have a tour because I'm not ready to be a solo artist again because I don't know how to get out there yet. So, but I consider Vince Gill the emperor of country music. And when he opened his doors for me, that opened up so many other doors in this town. It opened the Opry, opened up Country Music Hall of Fame, and so many other different amazing situations. From just touring with Vince Gill to the point where he produced this traditional country record on me called "I've Got You Covered," and wow, I get a chance to live out my hee haw dreams. Can you believe it?
you go from singing the theme in your living room as a teen to now, here you go.
Let it the Opry, for goodness sake. The Opry seats 4,400 people.
Yes,
And I've been up there about 33 times already.
And if that was not enough, he produced your 2020 solo country album, I Got You Covered, which featured your interpretation of classic songs of legendary artists such as Dolly Parton and Bobby Gentry and Linda Ronstadt. And you mentioned her earlier. It was a project that gave you the courage and mindset to then enter the voice, right? So not only are you working with Vince Gill, he wants to produce your very first solo country album. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's amazing. And it's true. Had I not done that record, I wouldn't have been able to do the voice because with that record, we did it in 3 days. He chose the songs the day of the session, and I didn't know those songs really. And so he said, I'm glad you don't know them because now you can truly make them your own. He would find a song with his phone. Yeah, let's do Walk Through This World with Me. All right. And we'll hear it 2 times. Somebody would write a chart. I would get a lyric sheet and then we'd cut it, and it was for the first time in a long time that I felt like an artist because I only had my instincts to go on. And, he gave me the confidence by saying he's glad that I didn't know them. And so then my first time feeling like an artist in a long time. And without that exercise, I wouldn't have been ready to go on The Voice because I found myself again with that project.
So it was very encouraging and it sort of reignited a flame inside, right? To a degree.
It took some fear away because I've always, what am I going to sing? What am I going to do? Who am I? I've been a background singer for the last 25 years. Who am I?
Right. Yeah. And that's people can listen to so many artists' fabulous songs, and more than likely, this lady right here, her voice is on it. Do you like? It was really interesting. We're talking about Karen Carpenter and how Karen Carpenter really was. Her interest was really being the drummer. She was the musician. And then they sort of caught wind, Richard and others caught wind of her phenomenal vocal prowess and then encouraged her gently to go out front and because she was the drummer and that's what she did. And there were sometimes you could see where she would drum and sing, but then blossomed into this singer as well. One thing, and was always humble about it. Some of these artists, you are that way too, which I think is refreshing. You always take on this incredible work, master it, and then sometimes feel like, oh, well, that was really, really good. And I loved it. And I gave it my all. But the next thing is going to be the thing. The next thing is it. The next thing is the one. That's going to be the one. And, sometimes I've done that as well. One of my hardest things to do which is easy for a lot of other people, is to actually compile all my work and do a demo reel, a video demo reel of the work, only because I'm like saying to myself, that stuff's really good from what everybody says. But that next project that I'm doing next week, that's the one that's going to go on the reel, or that's the one that's going to be. I don't know where that comes from, but that's something that, in my study of you and your incredible life and career, you've always been like that. And I think that keeps that hunger in you, right?
Yes, it does. And because I'm influenced by so much, like you've done so much stuff. You haven't just been one dimensional. And because we've had these other opportunities, oh man, then it's like you continue to grow. I think that comes from continuing to evolve and grow. And to do my ultimate best, you're gonna do your ultimate best. And then, you hope, expect new challenges, new ideas, new opportunities to come and learn from those too. I always jumped in. And I've said no to stuff too. If it's just not for me, I'm going to say no. I don't want to waste anybody's time. But I've been blessed where it's just been yes, 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 because it's been things that make me grow, things that I can add to my arsenal, things that make me better. I'm open to learning from others. And so with that and being prepared, I love being prepared and I love, working hard and, stretching, becoming a time jumper. The Texas Swing Band, they won Grammys. Vince Gill used to be a member of the Time Jumpers for 12 years. And when he went to the Eagles, Vince introduced me to the Time Jumpers. I mean, that nobody saw that coming. I didn't see it coming. If you're ever in Nashville, you want to hear some good country music, you will see 9 older white gentlemen and this black female singing country songs. Come check out the Time Jumpers. It's amazing. The musicianship is incredible. And it's where I practice and perfect my contribution to country music. Now I know what it is.
And you've been singing not only country, but you've immersed yourself in so many genres of music, and also the musical landscape of the region, which I think is fantastic. And it was about 30 years ago, you meet this bass player, Santos, huh? We were both a member of the all-star band that included music icons Billy Preston and
Yes.
Randy Bachman.
Yes. Hello.
That was more than a Forrest Gump moment, that one.
That was Billy Preston, Lou Graham, Steve Cropper. And from David Santos doing that gig, that's how he got to tour with Liberty DeVito. And they went on, and David started touring with Billy Joel right after that gig. And David was with Billy Joel for 5 years. Crosby, Stills and Nash, John Fogerty, Melissa Etheridge, Toto. And we were like two ships in the night because we've been together 29 years. It'll be 30 years in November. So we've been kind of going on this journey together a little bit. We never toured together, but my all-star band being those icons. And I have to say, I thought that they were old men. I'm older than they were at that time. And I'm like, I'm just getting started.
I like that. That's a great attitude. And that's the way to be, right? That's the way. When you wake up in the morning, what's like the first thing you say, or the first thing you do? I can see you waking up and saying a line like that. Hey, let's go. Whatever the day brings, the good, bad, and ugly, we're just going to make some lemonade out of all of this and go forward. I just can see that in you. And do you have a propensity for wanting to teach others? Do you want to write a book, a memoir about these experiences? Are these things that are in the offing for Wendy?
I want to write a book. I have things to offer. Now I know how to tell my story. I can't tell it as best as you can because you told the most amazing version of my story. But I have a story to tell. I at least got to that point of I have a story to tell that could interest or help someone. I'm nocturnal, so I stay up all night and I sleep in the day, unless I'm got a recording session that I need to be at 10 a.m. But I'm always working to the wee hours because I feel like that's when everybody's asleep in the world in the United States, and I can concentrate and I think And that's when I answer emails, or that's when I'll work like nonstop for 3 or 4 days and maybe get a couple hours of sleep. But I'll get my sleep, because then I'll have like 3 days back to back, and all I want to do is lay down and watch TV. But I work really hard, and I don't take that many breaks. But when I do take a break, it's just lounging. And I recognize that it's okay for me to do that. I used to feel a little guilty about it, but it's like I need that because I work nonstop sometimes, probably like you. Probably like you.
Exactly. That's why I'm surprised it's not midnight yet and we were able to get you this early. We were lucky. We're having our Forrest Gump moment right now with Wendy. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And especially, and if you're having a creative period, a creative bent, and you're excited about something, it is hard to go to sleep. And one of my friends is a screenwriter, and he always has told me, he told me years ago, his most creative time is late at night when his family's all in bed, the house is quiet, the phone's not ringing, nobody's knocking on the door, there's nowhere to be, nobody to respond to, no responsibility, no text, email, nothing. And then he can even wake up out of a sleep, and part of the dream is part of what he starts typing away at. Sounds like you have some of those quiet self moments are some of your most productive, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Those quiet times. That's when I can think. That's when I can think. I can write it down. I can look at it. I can change my mind. I can, right now I'm working on new music, and, I'll listen to a song, you know, because I'm not in the mastering form. I'm still in the overdub, adding instruments. And when it's quiet, I can listen and literally hear what may be missing from that. If I'm working on a lyric, the silence helps. The word just pops out. And so David and I are the opposite on that. He goes to bed at 10 p.m., 11 max, and he wakes up at 6 a.m. And now that he's not on tour, he gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning and plays piano till about 5. So we have different schedules, but it works.
It works, right? It
Yeah.
works. It's music to your ears and to our ears as well. And this is, what's really wonderful is the fact that it's as if you have this passion and this energy about you, Wendy, as if you just got started now. Like everything you do is the big break, is this wonderful opportunity. You are very gracious with every opportunity and thankful and grateful for every single opportunity, large or small, that comes your way, and you're excited about it and all in. And I think that's, again, another reason why a Ringo or others say, Wendy's the one, because she's all in, she cares, she loves it, and she treats it with respect, and she wants to knock it out of the park, right?
Yes, absolutely. Got to knock it out of the park. I've had so many great art icons say you got to leave it on stage. You got to leave it there. And because I work with some of these icons who, I respect, and they end up respecting me too. I earn their respect. I watch them like go for it all the time. So to not go for it is not an option. I got to go do it now. That's that New York mentality. Do it now.
That's it, right? Exactly. You'd fit right into the East Coast very easily.
Yes.
You mentioned the lawyer part. Is that anything that still interests you at all?
It's way too late. I got to leave it for the television shows. Way too late.
When you're singing the themes, right?
Yes, the themes have to be they have to live in my heart.
You've done so much, and so many people have been touched by your many years of music, whether you're in the forefront or you're backing others. What are some of your favorite moments? I know it's very difficult to really put that into words because it's feelings, but what are some of the moments in your illustrious career, Wendy, that really stand out for you? Maybe a couple that are just that either that was the thing that opened the door for me, or just I really loved every second of being a part of that.
I have my number one all time that thing, and that would be performing in front of the pyramids in Egypt at the Sphinx on this eye and the pyramids right here, singing duets with Julio Iglesias with the stars shining. So starry night, performing in front of the Sphinx and the pyramids. 2010. Not a lot of people will ever have that type of experience. And there I am. And after our duet, he asked me, "Darling, are you happy?" I'm like, "Yes." And I just pointed at the pyramids and people started to clap. And it made me teary eyed. That's like my number one thing, to be in that space with someone like him singing beautiful music and the stars shining bright. That's like my number one all time ultimate.
I mean, that one, you know, other than being on the Jim Master show, that one would be very tough to top.
It is. I think you guys are kind of equal. I
And we're
think
kind of
so.
equal, right? You reach the pinnacle on both, right? The pyramid and then here. It really is. It really is something. A lot of our faithful Lovely viewers have been watching and commenting and celebrating. And Abby Phillips just throws in, Wendy should be given a Grammy Award for everything she sings.
Thank you, Abby.
Not too shabby, huh?
Thank you.
Thanks for having you on the show, having Wendy on your show, Jim, from Marissa Leeds. I mean, all these great comments coming in. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate this. Again, it's all about that levity I was telling you about, light, love, and levity, and it just sort of came our way. And oh, yeah, Kathleen in New York City, talking about New York. Nothing better than being a levity. Welcome to the family, Wendy.
Thank you. Do I get a t-shirt? I get a t-shirt.
I think we're going to have to send you something. Yes. Abby says, "Don't Give Up" is a hit. And that's really, and Marissa, yeah, you're such an inspiration to many people and a strong woman. Absolutely. And Sherry says, "What a compliment." I agree 100%. Wow. And everybody that's loving this conversation that we're having here. Also, let's see, loving that tour with Tim McGraw, Faith Hill, Marissa added that in as well. And the Opry needs to make you remember like yesterday. This Opry?
Opry.
Go on. The Jim Master Show lovely audience said, get going here.
Yeah.
Lots of, as I mentioned, when you look at the body of work, I mean, we're just really scratching the surface. So much great music. Look at that shot, huh? Yeah.
I still look the same. That's 30
Yes,
years
you do.
ago.
Yes, you do. Just minus the yellow hat. That's all.
That's it.
Yep. I mean, a lot of music out there, folks, you know, to add to your collection if you haven't already. The material, I would imagine everything's all on Spotify, right? iTunes, Spotify, yes. Apple, all the places to go. That's a cool shot too. I love, we pulled that one out of
jazz record. That's my jazz record.
I love that one. And this is a great one too.
Yes.
It's all in the eyes.
Yes.
All in the eyes.
Yes.
It really, really is. You know, what have you not done? Do you see acting, movies? I mean, you've done so much and still do. What have you not done aside from, you know, memoir or something like that that's burning and yearning inside?
Well, I have to tell you, I've always wanted to do something on PBS. I'm a PBS artist. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm a PBS style artist. So that's on my bucket list.
You definitely are. Absolutely.
I'm a PBS person. And but what I'm not good at yet, if I was in a comedic setting, maybe I could do TV. But I can't remember a script. How do you do that, Jim? How do you do that?
Memorizing. So you're really good off the cuff, ad-libbing and responding as things are happening versus having to memorize. You know, we've had several of them on. One of the toughest jobs in the industry for actors and actresses is being on a soap opera. Their scripts, we've had a few people on recently who were script writers for the soap operas. The scripts are this thick. The amount of dialogue they have to, memorize. And I said, are there any cue cards for these series? Even maybe for some older talent where,
Yeah.
maybe they can't see the words or whatever it may be that happens. They said, no, there's no,
Oh,
it's,
I won't get
it's
that.
all soap operas.
I won't get that one. I won't get the movie because I'll say line. I'll be like, man, we just gave you the one line. You only said one. And so I probably won't get a chance to act unless it's something comedic and spontaneous.
Like a sitcom or something.
Yeah, sitcom, I could do that.
And I know who would write the theme.
Who?
You. After all of this, you'd have to write your own theme.
No, I'm gonna leave that to somebody that's their expertise, because I don't want it to be just mediocre. It needs to be amazing.
That's what I was going to ask you. You demand a lot. You challenge yourself, but you really demand a lot from yourself, don't you?
Yes, I demand a lot. And I know it's down to choices, how much effort we want to put in. And you always get what you put in. So I want to get that thing that I want. So I'm going to do my ultimate best. If somebody tells me, oh my God, you made me cry when you sang, okay, my job is done, because I move out of the way when I sing. I want it to be this spiritual experience. And I'm sure that everybody that we love, that we listen to over and over, they do that to us. I finally figured out how to do it consistently, like my part. That's what my journey's been about.
You said something beautiful earlier. You said you know your purpose, and that's something people search all their lives for. And especially during the last couple of years with the pandemic, people have been sort of searching for their purpose and their identity, or they've been maybe re-identifying themselves and saying, gee, what I was doing before really wasn't serving me. It was just punching a clock. Now I want to do things that connect with the world. It sounds like you've had that in the beginning, which I think is really, really cool. And that has sort of carried you through, and is a terrific segue to the current music that we're talking about, which is this. And congratulations on this. And the photographer, I forgot his name. Do you remember the photographer's name?
Yes, Thomas Crabtree.
Yes, we want to mention him.
Thomas
This, of
Crabtree.
course, is the music we're talking about. So apropos for this conversation, and for really a mantra for Wendy's life: don't give up. Tell us the inspiration for this, and did you have somebody in mind, or is this for somebody that's going through something, that's doubting themselves, or is this really for anybody? What do you hope people are left with when they hear this incredible? Now, I got to hear it because I got to hear it well in advance of our conversation. And folks, if you don't enter this into your music repertoire, you might need to make a doctor appointment and get your pulse checked in the morning, because it's everything she does is great. But this really is one of the latest, is a labor of love. Tell us the inspiration for it, and what you hope people get from it, what they feel from it.
Well, Don't Give Up was written by David Santos and myself. Like I said, 2009, but it wasn't ready to be released. We were young artists, musicians, and we maybe wrote it to encourage ourselves to keep going. But when it was time to release it, now decided to release it. I had lived through a lot. I had experienced a lot. Going on The Voice was a hard choice. I was so terrified of what it could have been. And I wanted to remind myself of that fear when I took that leap. And then when I fell on the show, all of that, I'm like, the song is ready to be released now, because people can actually see what I've done and see how I got back up. And then the story is real. The song is real. And my experience is real. And hopefully through the lyrics, they can feel inspired too, to not give up. I got an amazing second verse. I know how it feels to be afraid and alone as your dreams disappear. All the things you thought you knew so well have gone on with the tears. You got to fight on. I know it's hard to do. You can take broken dreams and make them all new. Just believe. I know it's hard to do, but we can change it together, me and you. So it's like, it's inspirational words that I hope that somebody is either works for them or they feel like they can be that for someone else.
That's exactly right. And there is the music you can get, of course, Spotify and iTunes and probably all the usual places where the music can be found. And also, we've been sprinkling this in during the conversation. Wendy has a terrific website too, and there's a store there, and there's all kinds of interactivity. And it's really a sharp looking website, so you can connect there as well. We have the video, not the audio because of the copyright and everything, but we can at least show the video, and maybe you can take us through a little bit of just sort of like, the making of even this is the official music video. And again, if you want to hear the music, just make sure you go purchase it, download, support these fabulous artists like Wendy. What was it like putting this together?
Well, it was the first video I had done in a long time. And
That sounded like an aha moment.
it was. And Beverly Kill, who's acting as my manager right now, because she does so many different things, but she helps me when I need to. Whenever I ask her for help, she's like, I'm there for you. She's an amazing publicist, and she does so many things in the city of Nashville. And we had a great idea about asking my friends just to send us a little video just saying, don't give up. And she's so connected. She knew how to reach Blake and Kirk Whalum and Michael McDonald and Kev Moe that you're seeing right now, Martina McBride. She reached out to all these people, asked for a quick video, and they all said yes. And so I was able to make my video. And that also gave me hope that these people care about me enough and wish me well so much. They want me to make it, that they would lend a second of their time for me. That meant a lot and means a lot. That's Jeannie Seeley. She's a country icon.
Yes, right.
She is a country living legend. She said, yeah.
Now, did you ever think that country would be as deeply a part of your life as it is now?
No way. There's no way I could see that happening. How? I was a soul girl. I was a pop R&B girl. I was Julio Iglesias girl. I'm singing in Portuguese and French and Spanish. How on earth was I supposed to cross that bridge over the country? It was Vince Gill. He opened the door. I went in, and he never gets in your way. But I'm not the only one. I was one of the performers. CMT did they have this series called Giants, and they were celebrating Vince Gill's body of work. And they had me as one of the singers there, and Sheryl Crow and Sting and all these people performed on the show. And Sheryl Crow and Chris Stapleton, they all were like, Vince was one of the first people we met. He helped open doors. That's what he does. Yes.
That's really been a wonderful friendship and respect for one another's talent. And he's really good at finding talent, right? He's got a keen sensory. He's an amazing talent himself, but he is really good at spotting and sort of, you're already set, but just taking and maybe elevating or connecting or just bringing somebody that's really good at what they do into additional areas and levels, huh?
Oh, absolutely. He can recognize, and he knows, of course, he's looking at your work ethic. He's, because he's not going to want to waste his time. But if he can help, if he can make a phone call, if he can create a platform, he's going to do it. And I heard it from so many different people who are superstars today, who have said Vince Gill, helped them in some kind of way. Yes.
Marsha Lyon, who I know personally, actually, we've both done work with PBS. She's already added the song to her Spotify list already. She loves the song. We're giving everybody a little tease. You can just see the official video here, but to hear it, go to Spotify, go to Amazon, go everywhere, Apple, iTunes, and download it. And don't just get this one, folks, because if this is your first taste of Wendy, it's not going to be your last. Her body of music goes back, quite a few years, and here she is with her yellow hat and her cool glasses to say, look, I'm a survivor. I'm here. I've been through so much, and it's one of the most difficult industries on the planet. But here I am, and I've done reinvention, and I've done this, and I've opened my heart to all genres of music and people around the world. And maybe you should run for office.
No, we're not going to do that.
Everybody, I asked them that, and they're like, no, thank you. No, I'm good. I appreciate that. I see what you see, but I am not going to do that.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, there would not be many Forrest Gump moments. Not in that world. You are truly amazing, and I just knew, and I was really looking forward to this conversation, that we were just gonna. It was. I don't call these interviews. If you've seen the show and the other guests, we've had some wonderful folks that who have been here: Freda Payne and Florence LaRue and Melissa Manchester, and the Pointer Sisters have been Anita and Ruth, and just so many fabulous people. And I knew that it was going to be like you and I were in the same room, having coffee, talking like we've known each other for 20 years and celebrating life. And that's what you do in your music. And that's what you've done all this time. You continue to. And the bottom line, again, this real mantra of the new music that, again, new to us, but you've worked on this for quite, a long time, is don't give up. And I'm so glad that you didn't and haven't and are not, Wendy, because you truly are an inspiration. And as much as you don't see it, we see it. You are, an iconic individual who has really gifted us with so much of your art and your talent. And I really hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you, Wendy. This was a blessing and a blast.
You're a rock star. You're a star. You are a rock star. This was a blast. This was like one of the best I've ever experienced, ever. I'm like going to take from you and watch this over and over. When I feel sad, I'm be like, I'm not a loser. Jim Masters just told me.
You're a lovity.
I'm
not
a
loser. You're a lovity.
Oh, lovity. So this has been amazing. Thank you for inviting me to your show. And I respect you so much. And you are the one that is continuing to help and open doors too for others. And you're amazing, Jim. I'm so glad we finally got this time together. Are we missing this Carol Burnett?
I was just about to say that. Oh my God. I was thinking that I was going to use that line and you took it out. You're intuitive too. She's fast, folks. If you don't get the words out, she's going to get it out. She's going to be in line ahead of you.
Man.
I'm so glad we had this time together. Yeah,
just and then have a laugh or sing
a song. And she used to pull the ear because it was for her grandmother, letting her grandmother know that everything's okay. Everything is okay. We're going to be good. Everything is okay. Don't know if you met her. I've had the honor and pleasure. And like you said, some of the folks that you've worked with, people wonder whether or not they are what they would hope. Carol Burnett, if you ever have the opportunity, anybody watching, to be blessed by her presence, she is exactly as you would hope. Funny, real, authentic, warm, affable, no ego, approachable, grateful, witty, all of it and then some. She walks in the room and she does not walk in saying, hey, look, the party starts because I'm here. She's the opposite of that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. It's refreshing. And there's, you're like that as well, which I think is, again, the authenticity that people gravitate to, Wendy, which is a beautiful thing. So many people just saying some great things here, Maureen. Wendy, you have certainly blazed an amazing trail for yourself. Kudos. You're such an inspiration. Keep on keeping on. Reach for that star. From Maureen in Arizona, one of our lovelies as well. Jane has already saved Don't Give Up. That's fantastic. Superb, great song. Absolutely. Marcia says, thank you, Jim and Wendy. Sending love and lovely to you both. Thank you, Marcia. And Marcia's watching us in Massachusetts, USA. Thanks for the kind words, too. Really, really appreciate that, Wendy. And My father, I'll tell you this, this audience has probably heard it a million times, but my father, with his New York Irish wit and wisdom, when I was 7 years old, said to me, I'm the fifth James. So he said, Jimmy, I'm 7. He's telling me this wonderful advice, great wisdom early as a child. Whenever anybody says something kind or nice to you, always be sure and thank them for those kind words. Then ask them to take those kind words. Please put them in writing and address it management. Yeah, right?
Oh, man.
So true. No matter what age. So true. So true. So thank you for those words.
Thank you.
You're the best. Thanks for all the time. You were very generous. I think our viewers and your fans got to see a little bit more about you, what makes you tick, your passions, your heart and soul. And they're already ordered. This is a fast moving crowd here. They're ordering your music. They're downloading it. They're filling up their music repertoire with more of Wendy. Can't get enough. Come back and see us again and spread the word about the Jim Masters Show. Other folks you think might like to pop on, they're all welcome. This is how we do it, not interview, conversation, free flowing. And you are amazing. And I really appreciate all the time, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate you. And thank you for inviting me to your show.
The pleasure is all mine. You be well from the East Coast to you in Nashville.
Yes. Bye-bye.
We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Wendy. Bye-bye now. Wendy Moten stopping by the Jim Masters Show. How cool, how special, how fantastic was that? Popping in real quick. There is the latest music. Make sure you get it. You guys are fast. You're mentioning in comments that you're already downloading. Now make sure, of course, you go to Spotify and those places and purchase the music. That helps support the artists. You don't want to just copy it. You want to purchase it and support the artists. That's very important to do that. There's a website. She was a blast. She is a legend in the industry, folks. She has backed some of your favorite artists with her voice for over 25 years. As I mentioned, she has toured with Martina McBride, Julio Iglesias. She's worked with David Foster, Michael Bolton, a lot with Vince Gill, and so many other artists, Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, and that's just scratching the surface. And just really, really a sweetheart of a person, right? And I love conversations like this. And yes, she was season 21 of The Voice on NBC, the nationally broadcast competition show on NBC. And she was on there. She made it on. She developed a great friendship with Blake Shelton. And you may remember, and she was very open about it, she did trip and fall over one of the monitors of the TV screens where you can see, images from the broadcast. And she fell over it and really did a number on her, hand and arm and all. And it was quite a scare. But she, and required surgery and all these other things. It was something else. But she picked herself back up and dusted herself off. And she's got all this music for us. But again, she's been doing this since the 90s, if not earlier. And she started by singing the TV themes in her house, Perry Mason and all the rest. How cool is that, right? She's a class act, fabulous person, real talent, and a guest right here for you exclusively on the Jim Masters Show Live, Entertainment, Lifestyle, Celebrity Talk Show series. Gang, if you did enjoy this episode, we would absolutely appreciate it. Thank you, and do so. Give it a like. Click the like button. Make sure that you leave a comment for us on our YouTube channel. We would love that in the comment section. Share this episode with your friends on your social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. That's where all these episodes of these shows are. And if you happen to miss this episode, parts of it, you came in late and you would like to see it again, you can certainly see it again on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. What a great show. We really appreciate our very, very special guest, Wendy Moten, joining us here. Again, she's an icon, and she's been doing this a long time, and she has a global following of fans. So if you're a fan of hers, we welcome you to the Jim Masters Show. Check out some of these other great episodes of our really special series. What we do here is something really, really incredible. Just want to preview that tomorrow we've got more great artists. This is the incredible folk rock music duo, Fox and Bones. They're very, very popular. Scott Gilmore, Sarah Vitort. They're touring the world, sharing their heart-rendering folk rock music. That'll be on our next episode of the Jim Masters Show, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on the YouTube channel. So look for them. And don't forget to binge watch some of the past episodes, including this one. You can see it again on the YouTube channel. And thanks to everybody who has liked, commented, subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you just subscribe to it, or you subscribed in the past and you don't get our notifications, make sure you click the notification icon. There's a little notification icon that's next to the word subscribe. Click that so you get notifications from us, really telling you about all the guests, the episodes, so you never miss a thing. You never miss an episode of that thing there. The Jim Masters Show. That's our monitor. The Jim Masters Show. I have it. We have it all the way back there so I don't trip over it. It's all the way back there, safe and secure. You be well. Thanks for being with us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Interact with us. Let us know. And thanks for all the beautifulness. I see all of this here. And thank you very much for these great comments. Thank you, Marsha Lyon. And good to see you, Marsha. Nice to have you here on the show. I appreciate it. And sending you some love up in Massachusetts there. And Abby, thank you. And Kathleen and Maureen. And everybody watching, and Jane watching in Sweden, and everybody watching all around the world, and everybody that's just watching, not necessarily chatting in the live chat room, but maybe you'll leave a comment for us in the comment section underneath the episode. We thank you as well. It means the world to us. Come back and see us again. We thank one more time our very special guest, Wendy Moten, celebrated recording artist extraordinaire, stopping by the Jim Masters Show, and we thank all of you. This is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, don't forget to love one another, take care of one another, and love yourself and take care of yourself. I'm going to scoot out of Lovely Hall now, preparing another episode. I'll be back right here. If you are not watching this live, stay right there. Another episode comes up of our series, or go back and binge watch others you might have missed or you want to see again from our past broadcasts. Love you all. Good times happen here in Lovely Hall at the Jim Masters Show. Coming to you from the East Coast of the New York area of the United States, Jim Masters. Be well. See us again on the Jim Masters Show. I'll be right here. Like Richard Marx sang, I'll be right here waiting for you. Cheers.